Till our last class, we are learning about separation techniques and we have finished separation of solid-solid mixture and solid-liquid mixture. What are the methods we have learned in separating solid-solid mixture and solid-liquid mixture? Can you remember? In separating solid-solid mixture, we have learned two methods, that is sublimation and dissolving. In sublimation, we have learned about sublimation of ammonium chloride and sand. Can you remember? We have to take ammonium chloride and sand in one china dish and we have to heat ammonium chloride, evaporate, and we will get it in the neck of the funnel as crystals, and sand will stay back in the china dish. And then dissolving. Dissolving can be performed by only when one of the solid is soluble in that solvent. While we consider water, salt and sand, salt is soluble and sand is insoluble. So that the salt dissolves in water and sand we can separate. Then in separating solid liquid mixture, two methods we have learned. What are they? Evaporation and distillation. Evaporation, in evaporation and distillation, what is the main difference? In evaporation, when we apply heat, the liquid will evaporate to the environment and we cannot get back that liquid. In distillation, we will use a condenser and we will allow the vapors to pass through the condenser. When the vapors pass through the condenser, it will again get its original form. That is, we can collect that liquid in a conical flask. Can you remember? Now, in today's class, we are going to learn about separating liquid mixture. In separating liquid mixture, there are two methods. In separating liquid mixture, we have two methods. One is separating funnel and the second one is fractional distillation. First one is separating funnel. What happens in separating funnel? We have a setup for performing this separating funnel. For that, what we should do is, we need a separating funnel, a beaker, a stand, etc. How this separating funnel is used in separating liquid mixture, we can say. We have to take an immersible liquid. That is, example, oil and water. We have to mix oil and water. We know it is an emulsion. Emulsions are immiscible. Already we have learnt. So we have to take an emulsion, that is immiscible liquid. What is immiscible liquid? The both liquid will not mix up. We have to take that mixture and pour it in this separating funnel. This is nothing but the separating funnel. When you pour this mixture in the separating funnel, you have to leave this setup to settle down. To settle down this liquid and the oil, we have to leave this setup for some time. See here, now it is settled down. This dark portion is oil and this light portion is water. When this mixture settles, now what we have to do is, here you have a stopcock. This stopcock, for what it is used? It can be opened and closed. When this liquid and oil settles, we have to open this stopcock. When you open this stopcock, liquids will start coming out because liquid, the water is in the bottom. We have to take all the water outside in this water separator out. This beaker is kept for separating water. We have to get all the water in this beaker. When you get complete this water, that is, when this water completes flowing into this beaker, we have to close this stopcock and We have to take another beaker and we have to collect the oil remaining in this separating funnel. Now both the liquids, oil and water, got separated. Did you understand about separating funnel? Shall we move to the next one? Second one is fractional distillation. What is the difference between this separating funnel and fractional distillation means? In fractional distillation we can use miscible liquids, whereas in separating funnel method we used only immiscible liquids. Did you understand the difference? Then in the last class we have learned about distillation, right? The same distillation is done here. A word fractional is added to that. Why means the difference between distillation and fractional distillation is, in distillation we did not use this tube. Directly we attach the thermometer here. Can you remember? In fractional distillation there is a segment called fractional column. This is the fractional column is added in this fractional distillation comparing to distillation. What happens here? We can see. Before that, this is used in miscible liquids. Mainly this application of this fractional distillation is in separating crude oil. The crude oil is the source for petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. Like that LPG, we are getting all this from this crude oil. In separating petrol, diesel from this crude oil, this technique is mainly used. Here we have to take a distillation flask. Like in distillation, we have to take a distillation flask. Now this distillation flask contains the mixture and you have to heat this. You have to apply heat to this mixture using burner. When you apply heat to this mixture, what happens is this mixture has crude oil and petroleum. For example, I said crude oil and petroleum. This fractional distillation actually works on the principle different liquids have different boiling point. It means generally when you heat a liquid, just water you think, you switch on the stove, you keep the water, what happens? Initially the temperature increases. When it reaches a particular point, it will start boiling and give vapors. It will start evaporating. That is the particular point at which the water boils is called its boiling point. Now consider you are having water and some other liquid or some other liquid like oil. Consider these two liquids, whether these two liquids will boil at the same time. No, right? Water will boil at a particular temperature and oil it will take some more time or less time. The two boiling points are not same. The same thing is used here. This distillation flask has mixture of two liquids. These two liquids will never have same boiling point. So the liquid which has different boiling points are taken in this distillation flask. Now when this liquid boils, two liquids are there. The liquid one with higher boiling point will settle in the bottom of this fractional column. This thing that it has petrol and diesel. Petrol, we can say, assume that petrol has higher boiling point and diesel has lower boiling point. What happens means now petrol will start evaporating and it will settle at the bottom of this column, and the liquid with lower boiling point the vapors will be occupying the top portion of this column. Now what happens means, the vapors at the top of this fractional column will move through this tube. It is attached in the top of the column. It will move through this tube, and here is a condenser. When it reaches this condenser, the vapors coming through this tube will get condensed. Condensing means applying some coolness to the heat gas coming through this tube. When it get condensed, it will change into liquid, and we can collect it in this beak. Did you understand? The liquid with higher boiling point will settle in the lower part, and liquid with lower boiling point will occupy this higher portion, and the liquid with lower boiling point is collected in this beaker, and the liquid with higher boiling point will settle in this flask. Now can you understand how liquid is two miscible liquids are separated using fractional distillation? I'll say once again, we have to take the miscible liquid in this distillation flask, and we have to heat this mixture. When we heat this mixture, liquid with higher boiling point will occupy this lower portion of the flask. This is the fractional column. This fractional column will occupy the higher boiling point gas at the bottom, and lower boiling point gas at the gas means the vapors coming out. This vapors will occupy this higher portion. When this liquid with lower boiling point passes through this tube, it will be condensed using this condenser, and it is collected in this beaker. Now for what this tube is used? This is for when the high temperature vapors pass through this, some heat will be there. This condenser will cool that, and the heat will go. When we apply cool to this gas, the heat will have to leave. To take out this heat, this tube is used. Now the liquid with low boiling point is collected here, and liquid with higher boiling point is collected here in this flask. Are you clear? So we have learned about solid-solid separation, solid-liquid separation, and liquid-liquid separation. Now next one is combination of this methods of separation. How we can combine more than one methods of separation in single mixture, that we can see. Consider an example. You have a mixture with sand, salt and grains. How we can separate this three separately from this mixture? Initially what we have to do is, we have to shear this mixture so that the grains can be collected separately. Next what we should do is, to separate the sand and salt, what you should do is, you have to add liquid, water to this mixture. When you add the water to the sand and salt, what happens? Yeah, salt start dissolving in water. When the salt dissolves, you can get the sand separated. So we can take the sand outside. Now we have this water and salt mixed in this. How we can separate this water and salt? Yeah, very good. Using evaporation. When you allow this water to heat, the vapors will evaporate and salt will settle down in the vessel. Next, one more example is iron filling sand and iodine. How we can separate this mixture? First, which one will you prefer? What you will do first? Yeah, what we have to do is, we have iron fillings, that is iron pieces, sand and iodine. First we have to separate this iron fillings using magnetic separation. That is, you have a mixture in this bowl. This is iodine, sand and iron fillings. When you show a magnet here, what happens? Yeah, all this iron fillings, that is, iron pieces are attracted by this magnet and it is getting separated. Next, what you will do? Now you have the sand and iodine. Now what we can do? This sand and iodine mixture can be separated using sublimation. What is sublimation? What is sublimation? Can you remember? What is sublimation? Sublimation means the solid, when you apply heat, it changes directly to vapors. It is called sublimation. This mixture, sand and iodine mixture, we have to take and we have to heat it up. Now what happens means, this sublimation will affect only the iodine present in the mixture. This heat cannot do anything to that sand. Only the iodine is sublime and this started vaporizing. And now sand remains here. So we can separate this mixture. So like this we can combine the separation methods. Did you understand? One more separation technique given is chromatography. What is this chromatography? Chromatography is literally it is a color writing. It is just writing in colors. So in this, using this chromatography, how we can separate? That is, we can separate it using two phases. When you use this chromatography for separation, it has two phases, that is stationary phase and mobile phase, and it works on the principle selective absorption. It is also called surface absorption. Now we are going to learn about paper chromatography. When you learn about this paper chromatography, you can understand clearly what is chromatography. In paper chromatography, what you have to do is, you have to take a glass jar and this is a filter paper. This filter paper is known as stationary phase. This is stationary phase. This stationary phase, in this filter paper, you have to put a drop of ink. That is being noted here. This thick part is drop of ink. After putting this drop of ink in this paper, after putting the ink, you have to dip it inside this jar. This jar contains some solvent. That may be liquid, that may be the milk, that may be alcohol plus liquid. Some solvent should be there. This solvent, when this paper comes in contact with this solvent, this paper starts absorbing this solvent using capillary action. Due to capillary action, the solvent is absorbed by this filter paper. Now what happens? Means when this solvent reaches this spot of ink, the ink started spreading. When this ink starts spreading, it will spread These colors will spread all over this filter paper. When this colors or that ink, this ink will start spread. What happens means this color or the substances of the color. Ink has some substances. The substances of the color which has higher attraction, that is when the liquid touches this ink, when the particles or substances of that ink is highly attractive to this solvent, it will move faster along with the liquid. The substances which is attractive or more attractive to this paper will move slowly. I repeat, when this paper with an ink drop is dipped inside this solvent starts moving up to this paper because the paper absorbs this solvent, that is due to capillary action. And when the solvent reaches this point of ink, the substances of this ink started moving. The substances which has higher affection to the solvent, that is the substances which are attracted more by this solvent moves faster, and the substances which are less attractive to this paper or more very slower than comparing to this attraction to this solvent. Do you understand what is paper chromatography? Using this in your book, there is an activity. That is how the colors are separated using paper chromatography. And now we can see about the uses of paper chromatography. Some of the uses of paper chromatography are for identifying the constituents in a mixture, for separation of amino acids, for determining organic compounds and biochemical in urine, for determining hormones and drugs in pharmaceutical industry. So in today's class, what are the things we have learned? Yeah, liquid separation method, then combination of separation methods, the last one chromatography. I hope you are all clear in this topic. By this we are ending this unit. Next class we can see the revision. Thank you.